Hi everyone. So we're going to do another demo today. This demo is going to show you how you can use Matlab to create professional looking reports with hardly any effort just by using your existing M files. So what you can see here on the screen is an M file that I've already put together. This is something similar to what you might have for a homework assignment, or for example for the exam or redo that we just did. It's basically just a bunch of code that you've typed in to create a certain number of plots. You can see that I haven't gone to much trouble to comment the code or to really explain what it does, but it definitely does what it's supposed to. So I can go and I can run, let's see, problem 2, and I can see I get the result that I want for problem 2. It's plotted and formatted the way I want. Then I can do the same thing for problem 4, and it plots and formats roughly the way I want. So what we're going to discuss is basically how to take this and turn it into a professional looking report. So the first thing I want to do is direct your attention to the fact that if you go to the File menu, you can see here you have an option for Publish Solution Demo. Solution Demo is the name of the M file I'm working with. So you can publish it, or you can edit the configurations first and then publish it. So I want to do that. I want to select Edit Publish Configurations. If you're working on a PC, you should have more or less the same option and more or less the same menu, but you'll have to probably poke around a little bit. So I got a lot of options here, and we'll talk about a couple of them as we go through this demo, but the most important one I want to direct your attention to is the file format. By default, it's coming up with HTML. I'm going to change it to PDF, and then I'm just going to tell it where I want it to put that PDF. I'll just like that on the desktop, so I'll just select that. Okay, so now I've told it I want you to publish this as a PDF on the desktop, and that's it. I'm just going to hit publish. And I'm going to let Matlab do its thing. And in just a moment, it'll pop up a PDF file that it's generated. So the file that it's generated is pretty nice. It's got all the code that I've typed in. It's got these big subheadings here for different sections, and it's embedded the plots directly into the text. So this is pretty nice. So even if you do nothing else, this is a pretty professional way to just get your code published. But the publish tool is actually a lot more powerful than that. So what I'd like to do is to go back to the code and show you how you can mark up the code with comments to really just generate a report directly from the M file instead of ever even having to open up Microsoft Word. So I'm going to start by going to line 1 and putting a double parentheses and giving my report a title. So we'll call this something like solutions, how about this, partial solutions to exam 2. Then I'll put my name and maybe the date, which today is December 1st, 2010. Okay, and then maybe I'll even put some code describing what I've done. So some comments describing what I've done. So this document outlines how to use some of the problems from exam 2. It is also meant to demonstrate how Matlab can publish your results. All right, so clear all. Problem 2, and let's put some descriptions for problem 2. In problem 2, the goal was to perform a convolution by hand and then verify the results in Matlab. The following code performs the simulated convolution. Now I've got my code, and now what I can do is I can define, I can discuss what's going on with individual parts of the code. So here I could say something like initialize the time parameters. Initialize the input signal x of t. initialize the filter signal h of t, perform the convolution. All right, redefine the time vector, and finally plot the results. Okay. Oops, so we are not even going to mess with problem 4 yet. So we've just done problem 2. So I'm going to save it and go back to my my configurations window and hit publish once again. And now what you should find is that the PDF that comes up should be formatted a lot more nicely. So let's take a look at what's changed. First things first, we got a table of contents. We got a partial solutions to exam 2. It's actually not quite published exactly the way I was expecting. Let's try it like this. There we go. I think that's what I wanted. Let's hit publish again. All right, that's better. So you can see that it's given me a table of contents. It's given me the text. It's put the text directly in here. So that text that was originally a comment doesn't appear as a comment anymore. Now it appears as just regular text right in the code, in the document. Here's my subject heading for problem 2. You can see that text that I entered as comment code it just appears in the document as regular text. I've got a nice title up here, which is nice. And then you can see I've got my code snippets. So this is nice. So the code winds up coming directly in the document, and then each of the comments that I've put has turned into some text. Okay, and then finally the result is embedded directly in the document. So, so the solution, the way we did this was just to be clever about how we define the percent signs. So doing a blank double percent and then followed by a single percent with some text, that text will just appear in the final document as instead of as a comment, it'll appear just as regular text. So I can do the same thing now for problem 4. The goal of problem 4 was to simulate a low-pass filter acting on a square pulse. We know from experience that the output y of t should be a square pulse with exponentially rounded corners. Okay, so define the time parameters. All right, and so you get the idea. Define x of t, and so on and so forth. Okay, define x of f, and then so on and so forth. So you can. I'm not going to finish marking up the rest of the document, but the point is that it's not too hard to do. You should just be able to just go through and mark up the document to get it looking the way you want. But again, the trick is to make use of the double percent and the single percent. Double percent with text after it indicates a new subject heading. Double percent and then followed by a single percent with text, that just becomes text that goes into the document. So once again, save and publish, and our document is looking better and better every time. Where did it go? There it is. All right, so we're looking pretty nice there. Our title went away. I think I'm getting a little bit. Let's try that. What am I doing wrong here? Okay. Well, I was happier a moment ago when the title just appeared at the very top. Let's try this. last try here, and then I'll give up for the time being. Publish. There we go. Now we got it dialed pretty much exactly the way we want. So you can mess around with this, and again, the trick is just to use those percent signs to format your document the way you want. But if you do it right, it's a pretty powerful technique, and you can get some pretty professional looking documents. If you've ever messed around with LaTeX, I know this doesn't apply to most people, but one of your viable output options is to output it as LaTeX, and it will basically just create a LaTeX file for you, which you can then run through any LaTeX compiler that you happen to be using. You can also output as HTML, in which case it will basically just it will output a let me show you how that works. A website, basically, an HTML website with your solutions. I mean, how professional does that look? All right, and then you can click on problem 2, it'll take you to problem 2. You can click on problem 4, it'll take you to problem 4. You know, code is set off in gray, text is set off in white. So this is how I created some of your solutions. So you have a lot of choices for professional looking stuff. All right, well, I hope this has been helpful. Let me know if there's any questions, and thanks for your attention.